out, and it's so cool. Once you write one of these, I don't know, you might get addicted and find out that it's one of your favorite things to do when you are tackling a new goal. So today, I have 2 goals. We're going to work on this today and a little bit tomorrow. I want to make sure you guys understand components of mission statements. Okay, a mission statement is kind of a powerful piece of writing. They're often very, very effective. And then I want to make sure you know how to create a compelling mission statement. It's one thing to write it up, but it's another thing to create one that's really engaging and gets people excited and inspired. So raise your hands if you have heard of mission statements before. Ooh, okay, good, I am seeing some hands. And some of us are like, I think so. So those of you who did say, yes, I've heard of this, where have you heard of it before? Or what's an example of one? No. So 5 of you with hands up. So I know you've got them. Yeah, Jules?
Companies usually have mission statements.
Companies might have mission statements. Give me a thumbs up if you're like, yeah, I feel like I've heard some of those before. Okay. So companies might have mission statements. Where else have we maybe heard of these? What was that? Mission statements in band or orchestra. Raise your hand if you had a mission statement in music classes before. The choir. Yeah. Where else? Politicians might have music statements, or not music statements, might have mission statements. Okay, so they might have their own mission statements, kind of telling you what to expect from their leadership, why you should vote for them, and things like that. So mission statements, you guys highlighted a few places. So you said businesses, you said specific groups, you also said a few things that we're going to talk about. Now, even schools and school districts have mission statements. We know that, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, doesn't our school have one?
Yeah, what's Skyview's mission statement?
Rock.
Okay, is it rock? Yeah.
Respect, character, knowledge.
Okay. All right, let's double check. Okay, let's take a look. So I'm going to pull up our Skyview homepage because I heard some of you and you're either really close or you got it. So yeah, even schools, we have our own
Relationship, characteristics, knowledge.
Okay, I heard someone say it. Here we are. And it's right over here on this board too. So our mission statement here at Skyview is ROCK. It's the ROCK acronym. Relationships, character, and knowledge for life is kind of how it ends. It's even published on our website. We have specific indicators of how we want to achieve this as a school. So relationships, we want you guys to be able to participate in extracurriculars. We also want to make sure that we have school quality indicators met. So even schools and school districts have mission statements. Today, you're going to write your own personal mission statement, and we're going to have some fun with it. So, mission statements. How do we create one, and what does that mean? Okay, so we need to make sure we know the components before we even start writing, and then you're going to create one that really highlights you and who you are and the things that matter to you. So journals, we have those out. So what are we going to write down? In your journal, I want you to kind of make a list of these 3 components. The mission statement that you write, since it is a personal one, is going to be founded on these 3 components. So a good mission statement always has an identification of values. So you identify the things that are important to you, that matter to you. Your mission statement also includes goals. What are some things you want to achieve? Where are you headed with these values? It's great if you have things that matter to you, but what are you hoping to do with them? And then the last part, this is the most important part of any goal. How are you going to get there? How are you going to make this goal not just a dream or a wish? How are you going to make it happen for yourself? So, your mission statement is going to include these 3 components. You need values, what goals you have, and how you're going to get there. How you're going to meet your mission statement. Okay, now comes the fun part. So how are we going to create this? In Canvas, I'm going to have you open up your Chromebooks to Canvas. I'm going to have you click on your personal mission statement assignment. And let's take a look at how we can start creating this. Okay, if we need to include values, if we need to include goals, and how, a plan of how we're going to get there. It's important to kind of think through those piece by piece. So we're just going to go in chronological order. First thing we're going to do is we're going to identify some values that are meaningful to us. Right? If you are not writing about something you care about, it's not as impactful. Now, Where might we use this? If we're creating a personal mission statement, how could we maybe use this? Yeah, Annie?
Maybe like job interviews.
Job interviews, absolutely. Where else can we use it? I mean, school's one, not as likely, but where else could you use it? Other than job interviews? What was that, Angel?
The passcode, you can't do it in a government document.
Say that one more time.
The passcode, you can't put that in a government document.
Okay, maybe like when you're filling out like a passport application or many types of various applications, you might need to talk about why things are important to you, kind of advocate for yourself a little bit. This is a great way to do that. And a mission statement is kind of unique because you can use this as sort of a template when you are doing things like preparing for job interviews, preparing your resume, preparing for college applications, tech school applications, even preparing for conversations, like real talk, no joke. Knowing what you value and what's important to you is a skill that you need in life. I even think back to my own life, and there's moments where I remember like meeting my in-laws for the first time, and I was young. I was not much older than you guys. And I remember that moment when I first met my future mother-in-law. And we weren't seriously dating, but she wanted to know who I was and what I was about. So I had to talk a little bit about what was important to me. She wanted to know who I was, and why I was meeting with her, right? So that's a good skill to have. So your personal mission statement assignment, you're gonna reflect a little bit on your progress this trimester and this school year, and you're gonna reflect on the things that make you a unique writer and a unique person, and you're gonna craft your own mission statement. So on here, I have a few things for you. I know that we love to use examples in class. That seems to really help us. So I have an example right here, and I'm gonna ask someone if they would read it for me. So I'm going to ask, let's see, who do I wanna bug today? Marcus, I'm gonna ask you if you'll read the first paragraph, and then Ashley, I'm gonna have you read the second one.
To help people and businesses to their goals boldly and wholeheartedly through intention of promoting change, because the world needs the diversity of passionate and real voices to make everyone feel heard, represented, and supported in their efforts to create a just, inclusive, and sustainable world.
I do this by using my passion for writing and words and my curiosity for the stories and experiences of others. I am a coach and consultant to my clients and an advocate for stories they have to be told.
Awesome. Thank you, you guys. So just looking at these two paragraphs, what does this person value? What are some things that are important to them? Okay. Thanks, Karen. What are some things that this writer values? I heard someone say it. It sounded like someone said success. What was that? Justice. Thank you, David.
Equality.
Equality. Yeah.
Success.
Success? Yeah. So they value like success, equality, inclusion, all of these things. Diversity. They mention all of these things here. And then they go on to kind of state their goals. So what is their intention? They want to make everyone feel heard, represented, and supported to create a just society. Okay, so they state some of their beliefs. They tell us what they want to do with it. And then down here they tell us how. So how are they going to make this happen? Using their passion for writing and words, using curiosity and stories, and advocating for other people, okay? So your mission statement is similar to this, but yours might be even a little more specific. So let me scroll down. I have a template here if you're feeling a little bit stuck when we get started on this. But I also have some guiding questions that might help out. Okay, things like, how did you get started on the path that you're on right now? You as a student and a person, what brought you to this moment? What are some things that actually motivate you? What do you want to be known for, right? What do you want your legacy to be? When people think about you, what do you want them to think? What do you want them to feel? What gets you excited? What gets you pumped and ready to go? And who do you want to help and serve in your own life? And then there are also some questions to kind of like just get you thinking, get you worked up and excited about it. Things like, what do you like to love and do? How do you go about meeting your goals? When you have a goal, how do you get there? How do you make it a reality? Who do you do this for? Is there people you do this for? And if there are people you do this for, how does this help the people that you want to serve? Okay? And you might be like, service, what? That may not apply to all of you, but it might for some of you. So how are we going to identify these values, and how are we going to start writing this thing? On Canvas, so you've opened this up so you have your requirements, you understand what we're going to be writing. Now I have two kind of links here to sort of help you out. One of these is brand new. We have not done this before, and I highly recommend it. I think this is the most helpful. If you think back to our argument unit, you can also think about your personality type. If you know your personality type, this might tell you what kinds of things you value. So me, for example, and my personality type changed a couple times over the years. Currently, the most accurate has been a debater personality. Raise your hand if you wound up with the same one. I think there were a couple of you. Okay. If you had a debater personality, one of the things it mentions is that smart and curious thinkers who cannot resist an intellectual challenge. Okay, so that's part of the reason why I'm always like wanting to learn new things and try new things. Because I'm curious, I want to know. So maybe that's something that I value is staying curious, or education. Okay, maybe I always want to learn, and that's something that's important to me. Now, your second option, okay, this little link right here, this value sorter, is really cool. So if you are not sure what you value, and if you don't remember your personality type, let's try it out. When you start this exercise, it will give you a list of values, and you can start sorting them. So it'll start you off with about 20 values. You'll decide which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to get rid of, and just sort them. Eventually, it's going to narrow down and narrow down and narrow down and give you your top 5 values. Now, is this a perfect science? No. Is it going to be 100% accurate for everybody? Maybe not. But it is a place to start. So for me, for example, it gives you a list of cards and you just sort them. Okay, so I said, I want to keep these ones, not keep these ones. Keep this one, don't keep this one. And then eventually, it narrows it down to 5 things. When you're here, you can start crafting your personal mission statement. And there are many ways to go about creating that. You can use the template that's on Canvas. You can ask me, you can ask a friend if you want some extra help. There are many ways to kind of create this. Think of this as like you explaining who you are to someone new. Who you are, what your purpose is in life, and where you want to go with your life. All right, what questions do we have before we start with our value sorting? I know we probably have a couple. I need at least 2 before we move on. At least 2 questions. Yeah, Dana?
Do you want us to have 5, or is there like a specific number?
Okay, do you need to have 5 at the end of your value sorting? I would say go until you have 5, but do you have to speak about all of them in your mission statement? No. I would say aim for 3. You can do 5 if you'd like. Great question. Other questions? Okay, one more question. I know it's out there. Yeah, Sophie?
Do you want MLA format?
Yeah, do I want this in MLA formatting? Yes, that would be great. Speaking of MLA formatting, length. Okay, I know we might be wondering about length. So how long does this need to be? I'm going to ask for 1 or more pages, but it is double-spaced in 12-point font. So if you really think about it, if you shrink it all to single-spaced, how much are we writing? Yeah, like at least like half a page, 3/4 of a page. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move into value sorting. Thumbs up, ready to go. Thumbs down, totally lost. Thumb in the middle, we're feeling okay, but we might have questions. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move through some value sorting. If you have questions, please raise your hand. Come in and check with me if you need to. But I'm going to kind of walk around and see how things are going while you're moving through this process. I would say be honest, have some fun with it. When you see your 5 pop up, you can stop and kind of talk with each other. You can kind of share your values with someone else and kind of compare. And I know it seems a lot harder at the beginning. It gets easier as you go. The first rung is probably the most difficult. Okay, I'll turn on some music in the background. Let's get to seeing some values.